What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Zach and Pat Show. I'm Zach.
I'm Pat.
This is the show about manhood, fatherhood, entrepreneurship, and the mentality it takes to be successful at those things. And we'll probably sprinkle in some helpful real estate advice too, because that's what Pat and I do. You know, guys, life can be tough. You can go through some things and struggle at times. But this is a show to let you know that you're not alone. So if you're someone out there going through any of these things, this is the show for you. Shout out to our friends at NeuroGum for keeping us energized and focused throughout the show. NeuroGum is a chewing gum that has caffeine, L-theanine, vitamins B6 and B12. It helps keep you energized, focused, gives you a little bit of a buzz without, reaching for a whole nother energy drink or another cup of coffee. I like to chew it whenever I'm, doing a CrossFit workout, whenever I'm driving around showing houses, whenever I'm really, if I ever just kind of need like a little pick-me-up and I don't want to reach for a whole nother energy drink because it'll keep me up all night. So get out there, try some NeuroGum. It's awesome. All right, now for our guest today. He's a good friend of mine. He is a graphic designer by trade, the great and powerful Patrick Woodling.
Ooh, good intro, man.
Yeah.
How we've never met before with all the people that we know that we were talking about before this is crazy.
I think
we probably have.
Because you guys are about the same age, right?
He's a year younger than
Okay.
I am, but we ran around and
I'm an 89.
Yeah, 88.
You're an 88? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we both grew up South County, ran around, played hockey with a lot of the same people. He knows a lot of the people in Oakville that I went to school with. So.
We went to the same Jack in the Box.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, baby.
Hell yeah.
We've talked about that Jack in the Box on many episodes.
Oh, yeah. I think that was one of our best reels that we cut up was talking about Jack in the Box and those damn tacos.
When you tell the truth, people come.
Oh, yeah.
Babies are dangerous.
Damn right.
Yeah. Well, Pat, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself. Kind of give us a little origin story. Who's Pat?
Is Pat. That's deep. Well, my day job is I'm a graphic designer. I basically push pixels, I read minds, and then at the end I try to come up with a finished product that the client's happy. What that is probably what I like specialize in sector wise. Like I do a lot of branding, visual branding. There's other branding out there. There's audio, writing, copy, smell, somebody to brand some candles for you in your hotel lobby.
Yeah.
That's not what I do, but I do the visual side.
Gotcha.
So I do a lot of branding, a lot of logo design, things of that sort. And I do like corporate identity, anything from small to medium sized businesses all the way to like enterprise level. So, that's what fulfills my day. What I like to do at night, I like to dress up as Batman and Soulard, run around. Just stars at, fire hydrants.
Leg lock people.
Ankle locking the homeless down there.
Yeah, I ankle locked a couple homeless guys down at Pontiac Park.
Hey, I'm down and out. I'm not homeless. Thank you.
That was Murph. He was just walking his dog. I thought he was homeless.
I just got back from a festival. Same thing.
Yeah, I saw a guy in swim trunks and flip flops in the middle of the park, and I'm like, that's my victim right there. He's got nice ankles.
He's got some nice ankles.
No, but I thanks to Zach, I go to jiu-jitsu, Watson's. Shout out to Kyle.
Yeah.
And the team over there. Love that place. That's kind of like my pastime. I just started running with the Omen Run Club. That's been great. They got me to do a half marathon. That was an awesome experience. So between jiu-jitsu and running and, my day work, that's kind of like my main fulfillment, and then I make time for my brother and sister. I got a brother and sister that are 12, so I go to a lot of my. Both of them are 12.
Twins?
Yeah, they got
Okay,
twins.
cool.
Yeah. They were featured in that Fox video.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
My sister was the one that Dad was yelling at in that video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, there was Pat put up a story on his Instagram pretty recently with chasing this fox around their backyard with this giant ass flashlight.
Yeah, my dad's the animal whisperer out in Wildwood. So, he loves these red foxes. Great. But yeah, no, I make time to go to, like, my little brother plays hockey and I go to try to make all his games. My sister does gymnastics. It's great, but it's absolutely painful to go to because it's a 3-minute routine, but you're there for like 7 hours watching someone else's kids, trip all over the place. And then I'm like, hers is like, all right, like I've been here all day. Here she comes.
Bro, yeah.
3 minutes and it's done. Or did I really just burn my whole day for 3 minutes? But
Yeah.
I do it. I
You do it, yeah.
sometimes.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's the
love
same
her.
shit with wrestling growing up. I know my parents, shout out to Jim and Joey, sitting there all day at that wrestling tournament to watch
Yeah.
me go for 6 minutes and
Yeah.
get pinned or something.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I told her, I was like, sis, you got to pick up another sport. This is tough.
Tough.
I was like, this is tough. So she's thinking, I got her thinking about lacrosse. She likes field hockey. She's considering soccer.
My wife was pretty good at field hockey. She played in college.
Okay,
And,
awesome.
Super into that.
Yeah, it looks fun.
She
Yeah.
played down at Missouri State. No
yeah,
shit.
well, she did for a little bit, and then she got hurt, and then they told her that if she wanted to play again, she got hurt, and then she was basically gonna be out for the season, and then I think they told her that if she went on next year, she'd have to go through tryouts and all that shit again, and she was all of her scholarships were all purely academic. She basically just like kind of walked on.
like
I
a
think.
preferred walk on
Yeah,
type thing.
exactly. And she was like, "Fuck that," because it was, she's watching me go out and have all this fun,
Right.
because we were still dating then, and or we were dating then, and she's watching me go out and go have all these fun at these fraternity parties, and she's having to go to 2 days and all this other shit. And she's like, well, I don't really need to be playing field hockey.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I mean, you see a ton of women's sports athletes just burn out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there might have been like 2 or 3 from the class of 9 freshman girls that came in and played softball that stuck it all the way out.
Wow.
Yeah.
oh shit.
Anyway.
Oh man. So when'd you get into did you like draw a lot as a kid, or
I
how'd you
did.
get into art?
Well, my mother was actually a pretty good artist from what I can remember. She did a lot of fine art. She did like a lot of painting, drawing, sewing, bejazzling jeans and shit like that. Like she was always doing some kind of painting and stuff. So she was actually a pretty talented artist. And then my father was actually a pretty solid artist himself. So I had that background. And then my grandfather actually, he owned a produce store in Soulard. Now it's Riley's Flower Shop. If anybody's been there, Riley's Flower Shop, pretty good spot. I go there because it used to be my family's produce store. And, the building's still there. So I'll go there to buy flowers just to bring back memories. I grew up there for like the first 7 years of my life. But what I learned there is like my grandpa loved sign painting. Loved it. Like he'd paint all his windows and do the paint drawings and chalk drawings. And like,
Really?
I remember watching him as a kid, like kind of do the stencils, and like, all right, 2 for $1, $3 a pound, and like see him like do it all
Make
in
it
like
look pretty.
in like a white, he'd do it like in a white crayon so you could see it and then you come back and paint over it. And, so, I used to love watching that and seeing that as a kid, but, I've got some art in my DNA. And then was actually going to school to be a chiropractor.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I was going to school to be a chiropractor. And I was doing like my transfer program to Logan while I was at Merrimack. And I always used to wander through the art wing. Like when I had an hour down, like I just wandered through the art wing and I was like, oh, this is some really cool stuff. And I'd like daydream. I was like, you know what? I'd probably take this class. And they're like, what is Computer Art Studio 101? I'm like, this is right up my alley. So I like one day looked it up and I was like, can I botch this in on this, bullshit you guys got me paying for already? And they're like, yeah. So I took that class.
Yeah, we'll take your money.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you want to take an art class and you're going to be a chiropractor? Sure. That sounds like a fucking great, addition to your core knowledge.
Yeah, just extra money for us. Thank you.
So I was like, all right, cool. Yeah.
Way to diversify your knowledge.
Yeah, we're just going to try to make you a well-rounded individual. Go ahead and take that art class, son. So
We actually have a special going on right now.
Yeah. 2 classes you don't need for one. Come on by. We're doing bowling too. Get your credit hours in bowling. I actually took that with Devin.
Did you?
That was the only D I got.
In
Motherfucker.
bowling?
Yeah, he fucked up my GPA all over a damn bowling class.
How do you get a
How do you
D
get a
in
D?
bowling?
Yeah. You couldn't throw strike?
We didn't know she was sending us homework in an email.
What homework could you have for bowling?
Well, you had to apparently you had to submit your score again online, even though we were doing it
in
there.
person. Jeez.
And I was like, well, I'm here doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm here.
Yeah, but you have to submit. There's things little questionnaire. I'm like, oh, fucking.
Did you
bowling,
enjoy
like,
this bowling alley?
Yeah.
Did the
Dude, it
balls
was-
make your fingers smell?
I think
Yeah.
we did like. I think it was like Dew Bowl in Lee May.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
it
I've
was
been there.
interesting. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
interesting, but it was good. But yeah, so I took that class when I was in Merrimack, and like I just went down that path ever since. I was just like, oh, this is really cool. And like, there was like the big web boom back then where like websites were like a hot commodity, like to sell. And you still had to really like, I remember I took a sales position at my first agency. We were doing, sales and strategy. So it was nice. I learned the sales side of that world. It was a really cool experience, but like kind of dates like how differently like things are now. But I was like competing with people like, well, like I'm top on Yellow Pages, like my name's starts with an A. So I come up in the first page. I don't think I really need a website where I come up on the first page of Google. And I'm like, buddy, like, are you for real? We're talking about the first page of Yellow Pages and you're talking about the first page of Google. Like there is a big
There's
difference,
a big difference.
So
And Google's not alphabetized.
yeah, I used to tell people, I'm like, you're kind of like the guy right now that like was arguing with everybody about having a telephone number. You're like, nah, I don't need that telephone number. If Bobby wants that, bottle of ibuprofen, just come on down to the
come down to
drugstore.
the store.
Yeah, come on down, get
Knock
your
on the
milk
door.
and get an ibuprofen. It's like, dude, come on, get a phone.
Yeah.
And
Grow
I was like, that's what you're going to be. And these guys were like, no, it's not good. People really didn't believe the internet was going to pan out. It was like crazy sometimes thinking about it.
Websites.
Web, what you gonna do on there? Get on there and look at nudies? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you probably will. That's
Yeah.
what you're probably gonna do. And
Well,
one
it's
day you're gonna
eventually
do it
gonna
on
take
your
up
phone in the bathroom.
A third of the internet.
Yeah,
I think a
Yeah.
third of the internet's porn.
yeah.
Some
Oh,
shit.
100%. Like I always love at the end of the year, like some website will be like top 10 most trafficked websites, and it's like never a porn site.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude,
come on.
who are y'all fucking lying to? Right? You put the real list up there, probably the first 3.
It's gonna
Yeah.
be OnlyFans.
Yeah. OnlyFans,
Pornhub,
Pornhub,
you know.
YouPorn, and whatever else you got.
Whatever the other ones are.
Patreon. Yeah.
Patreon.
They're taking the whole podium on web results. Yeah.
Up to 6th place.
Yeah. I don't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it one bit.
No, me either, man.
No, man. So you got into it in college, and you started working for your first agency. Are you now? Do you own your own agency, or do you have your own company, or what are you doing these days?
So the way I operate is I'm an independent contractor.
Okay.
So I own my own agency,
Gotcha.
and then I'll partner with other agencies and work internally with them for certain periods of time. But my company is called South 12th.
Okay.
It's a street I grew up in Soulard. I grew up in Soulard. And then I made the jump to the county out in my high school days.
Nice.
But yeah. So so in when I partner with other agencies, I'll pretty much do whatever's required of that retainer and relationship. But like what I do specifically, like for me, like when people approach me or I approach other people, is just branding.
Yeah.
Like that's what I enjoy. And like if I'm gonna take on like outside work outside of like daytime work, like it's gonna be something that like I really enjoy. Like I did a fun project
Yeah,
with
you did a
Zach.
sweet. I mean, have you seen my key lock logo?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if you now that you've been around, you can see that I don't know if you've ever looked at it, but it's a belt knot,
Okay.
which fucking awesome.
Yeah,
But
no, I love it. It was like
I'm in
one
the
of my
process of getting some hats made. So,
Are you?
yeah, I'll
Okay,
get
I
you
love
one.
to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like that's the kind of stuff I love to take on is like, fun little branding projects with people you can relate to and people that like have the same interest as, like I couldn't have pulled that off with a guy that doesn't do jujitsu, what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I'd have to get him something, generic, which is like also something I completely walk away from. I try to stick with stuff that I know can be a little bit outside the box if somebody's willing to have fun and like kind of be ahead of the pack on their idea versus like I don't really get turned on by a guy. It's like, I just kind of want to be middle of the road.
Mm.
I don't want to be competitive. I just want to take like 7th place.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, man, you can go anywhere and get like 7th
Yeah.
place. Like I
Yeah.
want to go some guy that's like, all right, I want to do something completely outside of.
Yeah, let's make
The
it stand
norm.
out.
Like,
Let's
what
do
I-
something cool.
I liked yours. You're like, let's call it Key Lock. And I was like, oh, this is a fucking great name. Like I can see how it's going to relate into jujitsu and like
Like
who you are,
houses
instead of like Susie Williams Real Estate Group,
I'm like,
KW,
well, that's what I
Compass.
Yeah, I
blah,
just
blah,
didn't
blah.
want to make
I'm
it.
just like,
I don't make it
everybody-
like generic, and
Yeah.
and there's like this other piece of it that like, man, I don't know, I don't want to like, I don't need to have my name or my face on it. Like, I want it to be like its own thing, so that like,
yeah.
it's just I wanted it to kind of like stand alone for me, and like, it's my thing, but
I get off the highway over in Frontenac and I get off on Lindbergh, and almost every time I see some horrendous fucking van wrapped with two couples real estate info, and I just want to drive my car right into the fucking photo.
yeah,
Because I'm just like, this is the most painful shit I've ever seen. I think I'd end up doing it as a joke. Like if I was a real estate agent, I'd do all the cheesy
you and I
just
talked about
super
doing that.
cheesy.
yeah, like just a bunch of cheesy
The
shit. Like the
biggest
guy
fucking billboard.
from Modern Family. What is
Yeah.
it? What is it?
Phil,
Phil. Like Phil is like,
the perfect.
he's hilarious. Like, you got the nice one with the twin bathtubs and blah 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 blah. Like he's just like so like always on
that
par
cheesy
with
realtor.
like
He's like, you're gonna be the one running the open house this weekend.
Yeah.
You're the one baking the brownies. You're putting the signs out.
Yeah.
You're putting the balloons on the signs.
Right. Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, I love that. But yeah, no. So I try to do stuff that's a little bit. I don't even want to say a little bit. I like doing stuff that's outside the box, or like somebody's like, oh, this is something that's new in the industry, or something that somebody hasn't done before. Like that's the stuff. Like I'm like, cool. I'm willing to jump on that. Like, let's go. And so and even like my execution, like everything I do is a little bit different. Like.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of like funny doormats made up.
I don't know if I've ever shown you these, but like, I'll send them to you. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Like these doormats, like tapping out the competition.
Yeah.
What was some other
Yeah.
ones? It was like
Was that closing houses? And man, I had a couple of them. I was gonna put that one up on Instagram here soon. That project, but yeah, I had a bunch of really good. Choking out the competition.
Yeah, it was like all these funny things. They're really good. And
submitting offers and agents.
That's what it was.
That was
Submitting
my
offers and agents.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. No, I enjoy it. That's honestly like I'll probably do that until I'm like 100 years old and just do it for free. Like I hope one day I can just sit there and like chill and do it for free.
Well,
Yeah.
you were a hockey player and
I was.
and a goalie. Have you ever thought about doing like custom goalie masks? Have you seen that shit on Instagram?
Yeah.
That stuff's fucking cool.
Yeah. There's a guy here in St. Louis that does makes his own masks that I've been trying to like prod into working with me on some projects. Yeah, like it's so crazy because now the way goalie equipment's changed, it's like everything is like a graphic printed instead of like the actual like leather stitched design. It's like they put it in an inkjet printer and they print the graphic on the pad instead of like adding all that weight by more and more leather and whatnot. So I was always like, man, like what a brilliant idea. Like honestly, like I was just like, man, like I would love to eventually find someone that would be like willing. Like if I ran into Biddington's nutty ass, I'd be like, bruh, like I got an idea.
Yeah.
Like just fucking
Please,
just
let
hear me
play.
out,
Yeah.
man. I'm nuts too. Okay. Just trust me. We're going to get along.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a goalie thing.
Yeah. Like, you know,
you gotta be a little crazy to stand in front of, fucking
Pucks
hard ass
flying
rubber
at you,
puck.
Yeah.
100 miles an hour.
Yeah. I actually met my favorite goalie
Oh yeah?
Like-
Who's that?
2 months ago. Marc-Andre Fleury.
Really? Where'd
And
you
I
know him
was
at?
so fucking nervous.
I'm sure that's the flower,
Oh,
man. That dude's
dude.
fucking
Dude,
he's a first ballot Hall of Famer as soon as he's done.
no
Where
doubt.
did you run into him at?
So I was eating at Pastaria and I was sitting there like up at the bar and like out the corner of your eye, you can kind of see the sidewalk in Clayton. And like I saw a group of 3 guys walk by and I was like, that looked like Marc-Andre Fleury. So immediately I pulled open my phone, like Minnesota's in town.
Yeah.
I'm like, I dropped everything I was doing and I
Ran
ran
outside.
down the street and like talked with him for a second and got a photo with him. But
Oh,
like
that's
he was a really good dude. He was a really good dude. I hit him with like my open liner I was like, listen, man, there's 2 people I want to meet in life. I was like, I hope I meet Jesus Christ and the second is you. And he was like, oh man. He's like, well, I hope you meet Jesus Christ too. And I was like, well, I'm hoping so too, man. We'll see how the rest of this life works out. He's like, I was like, but Matt, I got to get a photo with you. And I was like, I told him the whole thing. I was like, I've been following you since 14. I was like, it's probably why I'm not a Blues fan. I was like, I've been rooting for Pittsburgh for the first
Right.
10 years of your career. And he's like, oh my God, really? I was like, yeah. Like, I was like, I don't know what I'll watch when you retire. But yeah, really nice guy. He was really, really cool. So I was happy. That was like my one like checklist person like I really want to meet.
Yeah.
And, like I finally got to meet that fella. Good dude though. This intermission is brought to you by Neuromints, Energy and Focus. These babies feel pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how many of these are you supposed to eat before like I can like start moving shit with my mind.
About 4 or 5, I think, is usually where I can start moving, levitating the world.
Yeah.
The limit does not exist.
Yeah, the limit does not exist.
Energy and Focus. You get up to 2 bags and you'll turn into 11 from Stranger Things.
Yeah, dude, I crunch on these, especially the mints. I'll crunch
Damn.
a couple of those things.
These are nice. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, well, here, take that pack of gum. It's good. I mean, they have the gum and the mints,
I
and
thought this was like a bag of like man wipes or something.
no, there's 2 packs of gum in there.
Okay.
Maybe something. Wipes to give you energy.
Yeah,
Good.
man.
Well, they
Absorbs
make
your blood.
those. Gotta check out. Yeah.
Dude
Wipe-
wipes?
Wipes that give you
No.
energy?
Yeah. Hymns.
Really?
Oh yeah. We wipe them on you. You know what I'm
Like
saying?
wipe on your ass or your
Mhm.
dick and balls? Like-
Yeah, dick and balls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
And it's supposed to give you energy?
Gives you superpowers apparently.
Oh, okay. All right.
I read a review.
I know they got them special pills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those things are coming out. They come in mints too now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The boner pills?
Yeah. You fuck around and leave those out on the counter. Can you imagine
Just
that?
walking around and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Picking up cell service with that thing. Walking around hard. Like,
Walk hard.
yeah. You're like, I get 10 more channels on my TV once I fire these babies up.
keep those away from the gym.
Yeah.
No, we don't need that at jujitsu.
No.
Who is
Doing
it?
cock push-ups.
Yeah.
Wasn't there somebody that said they take a little bit of? I think it's Rampage said he would take like Viagra.
Or something.
yeah.
It's
No
like, it's a
shit.
vasodilator, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the
Putting
same thing.
blood into the organ.
Yeah.
Crank blood into the organ.
I mean, yeah. Vasodilator is like a fucking first one is one of those as a supplement.
Dude,
Yeah,
I roll
Alpha
with
Surge.
you.
Alpha Surge, yeah,
Yeah.
DRV.
Yeah,
Huh.
don't be doing that during fucking when,
Oh,
when I'm
dude.
partnering up with you and I catch you rocking a flesh rocket. Like
I'm just happy to see you, dog. Want to get ankle locked, know what I'm saying?
yeah, and get ankle locked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sweat
this-
a different type of lock.
yeah, we're doing ankle locks, not scissoring.
Yeah.
Yet. We're not
Yeah.
scissoring yet.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
that's
with
one,
that in there.
that's
You
one
get-
thing. I don't know if you'll realize there's a lot of guys. There's some guys that wear cups when they train jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah.
like, man, that's they could kind of use that thing as a fucking weapon,
Bruh. That's yeah.
I didn't wear one when I played baseball.
I
I'm
don't-
not going to wear one when I do jujitsu.
No.
Yeah, I don't wear one.
I
Yeah.
mean, you're gonna get. I mean, it's inevitable. You're gonna get hit in the balls at some point, but
Right.
it's
Yeah.
not something anybody's intentionally trying to do.
No.
But some of the guys that use they'll take your back and kind of like drive that thing into your back,
Oh,
or
God.
or actually,
Sus.
Yeah.
or really
Well,
what
shit.
what
If
the
you fucking
best
hit
thing.
your legs around and fucking push it into the guy, that shit
Or like
hurts
you,
too.
say I've got you in mount and I'm just kind of like driving that cup into your chest, or
Mm.
or especially with arm bars, it creates more of a fulcrum.
Damn,
that
well,
people can
Why don't we
like.
just put this shit on OnlyFans?
Well, maybe
Yeah.
maybe a little Viagra before a
Hey,
little open mat.
you know
night.
what? We need to make
put
some
that
extra
full-
money. That's not a bad idea. I'm sure
Yeah.
people will pay to watch us roll around in
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Only chokes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I had a yeah.
I mean, I'm down.
Yeah.
Only
I got some
keys.
bills to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. So Pat, you've been training for what, like 6 months now?
About 6 months now. I got
Yeah.
one stripe, maybe 2 here.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. We'll see.
A lot of fun, isn't it?
It's a lot of fun, man. I love it. The best way I can explain it's like finding a series of Netflix with like 15 seasons, you know, and you're just like ready. And I'm like, man, there's just so much you can learn. Every class is great. The way Kyle teaches his curriculum, but not, and the way the cycles build up, and it's fucking awesome. And the community there is great.
it's
like,
so
it's
cool.
not like, you're not going to go in there and it feels like a frat house, or you go in there and you're, like a feast or famine.
Yeah.
But not like every dude I've met there is pretty great guy. Even the upper belts, I like never had a bad experience. Like the only people that I always be weary of are the drop-in guys that are from gyms you never even like.
Connor.
Yeah.
Who, Goldstein?
Nah, just anytime we can throw shade Connor's way, we tend to.
Yeah.
I always ask him, I was like, you ever get mad about the people named Goldstein? Do they have a leg up on Silverstein? He hasn't thought about it, but he thought about it later.
Yeah.
Went home. Was like, damn, that joke fucking Pat cracked was crazy.
He's like, damn, that's true. I did know a Goldstein. He was he was just born with a good credit score. Yeah.
This fucking
guy, he was like FHA approved at 5.
Connor, man, I love that guy.
Yeah.
He's a piece of work.
Oh,
That
man.
Connor Silverstein.
Yeah, he's got big personality.
He does have a big personality.
Yeah.
I know he's probably listening.
I can't wait to roll with him, get a little bit better at this, and he always brags about how he fights people that are bigger than him. So I want to get good to where I can roll with him and then just sit on top of his ass.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the strongest guy in North America, from what I've heard.
You watch him on social media, man. That dude's fucking deadlifting a bunch of shit and
He is
walking on
very
his
strong.
hands. That dude's fucking athletic.
Yeah.
I'll give it to him, man. He's fucking athletic.
He is. He's a good dude.
the dude aims to
Yeah.
be good at stuff that he does. He does
Yeah.
a lot of stuff.
Goes all out for it.
Yeah, no, but jiu-jitsu has been great. Watson's has been awesome. The community there. You know, knowing you going Tuesdays and Thursdays was great. You know, knowing somebody there that's teaching the class.
Mhm.
And then I got to meet
Jason.
Jason,
Yeah.
who goes, well, I call him Juicy J.
Juicy
I found
J.
out that's not his car that says Juicy J.
Oh.
He goes by J Fever. That used to be his stage name.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a theory on Jason. I think he used to be a male dancer. I'm not sure. It's kind of what I go with, because Jason's got like, I used to break dance and pole dance kind of vibe to him. Jason's probably like, I'm gonna fuck you up when I see you. He's a really nice guy. He
Oh,
takes it-
Jason's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome. I loved going to his class because like he's a pretty funny guy. So
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah, I
was-
mean, that's
it-
what we were. Yeah, I think we were. I can't remember when
Yeah.
Pat and I were talking about it, but it was like, yeah, me and Jason teach the same. You know, we've got the same curriculum that we teach, but like,
little
you know, a
tweaks.
little difference.
Yeah,
you know,
What
little
nights
tweaks.
are he teach? What nights does he teach?
Monday, Wednesday.
Monday, Wednesday.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he does the Monday, Wednesday beginners class, and I do
Is
the.
that still at 6?
No, it's at
That's
7.
at
So
7.
you
Oh,
get
yeah.
it's a little
That
later.
might
It's
even be
nice.
even better for
Yeah.
me.
Hey, man.
I mean, what's great is, I mean, because of how the schedule works with the kids, I'm either going to have them Monday, Tuesday, or I'm going to have them Wednesday, Thursday.
Oh, there you go.
So,
What's
I mean,
What's fun is like if you go on a Monday, you learn from Jason, you get a head start on the curriculum, and then you go to Zach's on a Tuesday, you do the same thing, but you learn like a variation. Because like
Gotcha.
I've learned like everybody teaches like a same technique,
but
there's
different.
different little
Right,
variation.
and different things might work for different people.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's
So-
awesome. You get like 2 different looks or 3 different perspectives on the
Yeah.
same execution, which
Exactly.
like that perspective might work better for like
And,
You know-
and if you get into competition too, I mean,
100%.
you
Yeah.
know, that might mixing it up, and someone sees you doing it this way
Yeah.
you know, then all of a sudden you throw it at them in a different way. I mean, sure.
It's just like something, you know, seems to like click, you know,
Yeah.
something like, oh, wait, the way he showed it just clicked
Yeah.
better with me or something. It's just
Yeah.
it's weird. Like, cause like I do the same thing with Kyle and Trevor. You know, Trevor's the black belt that teaches the day classes. So yeah, I mean, you and I should, you know, we'll plan that time out where we, you know, you can go to a 10 a.m. class and we can do that
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Cause like, well, I'll be a, you know, student in it. And, yeah, it's just the same thing. You know, Kyle and Trevor are teaching the same curriculum. It's like they're, you know, this week we're doing leg locks and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's like they're both teaching leg locks, but it's just like
Yeah.
the same area, just like a little bit different.
yeah,
things,
same thing
you
with
know?
the Collins class
Collins, same
and
thing.
Kyle's class. It's always good. There's always some
variation. there
nice
and-
little variation there, and it's nice. Nick, the few times that Nick taught was a great
Yeah,
class.
Nick's a great
Yeah.
coach too, man.
Yeah, Nick's great, man. He's really articulate when it comes to like breaking down everything, and he always throws in like a nice little mixed bag of tricks.
Mixed bag of tricks. He's so
Yeah.
cool because like, man, Nick was not always so like, man, something a switch flip with Nick about.
He probably
about-
fell off one of them paint ladders.
He probably
something,
did. Busted
something
his head
helped.
or something.
He's still got
Or he's
good hair
huffing
though.
some- or
Yeah.
he's huffing some of those paint
Yeah.
fumes or
Yeah.
something. But yeah, man, something happened with Nick over like the last like 2 years, man. I mean, ever since he really came to Watson's, and
Yeah.
because Nick and I were at a different gym before, and that gym, really tied you into like a 2-year contract was like their minimum.
Trash.
Yeah, me and Murph both had experience with that gym.
Trash.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and they kind of had him by the balls for a little bit, and then eventually he got over to Watson's, and like it totally like opened up his eyes to like, oh wow, this is, and then especially over like the last year, he's taken it super super serious, and like he's just gotten so much better, and he's gotten really really good, and it's just so cool to like see him level up like that.
Yeah, he's great. I really enjoy working with him.
Yeah,
he's good.
He's really good at what he does. I mean, and Nick also, he's a great painter. He's helped me out with many of my I mean, he's like my go-to guy if I need something done at one of my properties or for one of my clients, and like if it's something, even if it's not painting, Nick's phone rings and, hey bro, can you come help me move this thing?
Yeah, he's got great hair too. Somehow
he does have great hair. Yeah.
It's quite interesting, the different styles that he's able to pull off during jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's got that nice little Channel 5, comb over. Or he does that peacocking thing, where it's just, I'm just like, man, I got one look and that's it,
Yeah.
It's, once my hair gets wet, I get curls. And the one guy, one of the many Nicks calls me Vince. Short for Vince Vaughn.
I could see it.
I could see
that. He goes, oh yeah, you're the funny guy. Start calling you Vince. I was like, yeah.
I could see that. That's
yeah. Because I'm always cracking jokes during like in the middle of them.
Dude, it's hard not to.
In the middle of a session.
Junior seminar.
You can always joke you can always, there's always a joke that you can crack when you're on top of another man sweating into his mouth.
Yeah, when you put it that way, you had that sweat in the mouth. That's a catalyst for love. No, we were, well, it was funny, like Friday night, they had the garage door open and that sunset comes down, the railway.
Yeah.
And little Nick was on my back and I was like, man, this is just lovely that we get to share this experience together. We're just cuddled up over here on the mats watching the sunset and some trains go by. I'm just like, boy, oh boy.
Just setting the mood.
I was like, don't get hard on me now.
Yeah.
Start feeling a little poke in the back.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh man.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Well, Pat, I know you. I know you kind of had like a crazy childhood, right? I mean, I know it was different than most. You want to kind of elaborate on that and like kind of how that's kind of shaped you as a person.
Yeah. Yeah. My mom was. She was in that MK Ultra with Charles Manson. No, she could have been. Yeah. So yeah, no, I was raised by my grandparents early on. I had, my mother and father were incarcerated at 2 different times in my life. My father early and then my mother later on. And, they're both, my father is, great guy, great father figure, hard worker, like came out and, awesome father to my brother and sister. And we have a really great relationship. And we had a really good relationship even when he was in, and, we always talked, kept tabs, letters home, always made weekly visits out to visit wherever it was.
Was he in Missouri?
Oh, no. I think first he was in Texas, and then like you kind of work your way back as your like sentence, lessons. So it kind of like you're like, okay, as good behavior or as like you're getting closer, we'll move you closer to like where your family is. So I think the last place he was at was Springfield, Illinois. They have a federal penitentiary out there. The thing I remember the most was the big water tower. It says like "Welcome to Springfield." So I always knew I was close.
Yeah.
Once I saw that,
Yeah.
So yeah. I grew up, primarily raised by my grandfather and my grandmother. They played a big crucial role in my life and my upbringing. It was kind of nice because like I was raised in like an old school way, and there was definitely some interesting elements of the home I grew up in and the surroundings and the neighborhood and
Hey, growing up in Soulard.
Yeah, Soulard was I like to say it was a little different, but it was a lot different than
South County.
than what it is now.
Oh, okay.
Even, like it wasn't like lofts weren't a thing, like condos weren't a thing, like those, like we still had the housing projects were still up on 12 turns in that Tucker, on Tucker, now that's just
they're
the
all
new,
done now, yeah.
now they're just new ones, but they had like, the housing towers and stuff like that. And, it was not that diverse of a neighborhood. So I was like the minority in the neighborhood of, the kids that came out actually. But I mean, I enjoyed it as a kid. Like I grew up in that environment and, like I didn't really, when you're a kid, you don't really notice, those kind of things like, I'm not that many white kids here. Like you're just like, like I'm going out to play with my friends and like,
Right.
we're going to go do some dumb shit. And like, as you get older, you kind of start seeing certain things, but, no, Soulard was fun. It was fun. There was also a lot of wild shit, but I also grew up in like my family's grocery store for like the first 7 years, which was off South Broadway. And that's where like, I grew up. I think that's why I like people watching.
Mm.
Cause like as a kid, I used to just love sitting at the checkout counter and watching people, and people are nuts, especially like off South Broadway. Like you'd see crazy people all the time. And like, I loved watching it as a kid. And now I love crazy fucking people. I love watching crazy,
Oh,
and I don't know if that's correct to say they're crazy, but I love people that are just,
Little
I love
off.
watching. Yeah. I just love it. Like, I don't know what it is. And what's crazy is they're attracted to me. These people will find me. Like anytime something nutty's happening, like I'll get approached. Like if there's one person in the group that they're going to be like some crazy holistic Jesus guy that's tied himself to a cross, he's going to come up and ask. If there's 15 people in a row, he's going to come up and ask me, have you repented? Are you ready for the reckoning? And I'm just going to be like, dude, yes, I'm ready for the reckoning.
ready.
I'm like,
And
tell
just
me,
egg 'em on.
what do I got to do?
Yeah, bring me.
Do
with
you have another cross?
another?
Like, I don't know. Like, I've got this, my dad's kind of the same way. I think I inherited it from him, but like we both got this, secret magnet for crazy people, so yeah, we'll see how that goes down the road, where that leads me in life. I hope it just starts attracting some normal people too here soon. But yeah, man, it was a different upbringing than, like it was just kind of city living and, growing up, with, like old school parents, and then also having like the challenges of having parents that are incarcerated, and you kind of like open your eyes to some stuff that like other kids at that age like haven't really seen or haven't been exposed to, like early challenges, like early adversity, like you see, like it's tough not growing up with. I had a father figure in my grandfather. I think or that was a blessing.
And how long was? So what ages were you from when your dad was incarcerated?
From 2 to 12.
2 to 12 he was in, and then mom was.
She went in my 20s.
Okay, so you're a grown man.
Yeah. And I was closer to my mother prior to that, and then she went in right before that. Me and her had a really big falling out. So she went in, and I think she did 7. I think she almost beat my dad. I think it was like at this point it was a competition.
Who could do more time?
Who can do more time? What's funny is she actually went to the same place my dad was at on the women's side, which was like the irony of that is just fucking hilarious. But on a side note, it's almost embarrassing.
Go there and visit both of them.
But yeah. So luckily it was two separate times. But yeah, it could have been nice. It could have helped, with the drive. But yeah, I mean, those little challenges, just kind of feeling, growing up as an only child without your parents, and then like, your grandparents are, it's a little bit different. My grandfather did a really good job of filling that void and that figure, doing things with me. But you always have that like emptiness, that yearning for like your parent, and like in my early days, my mom was never around, like my mom was out, at Napoli trying to meet the next, some
Yeah.
Jewish doctor. That's what that was her type. Like she loved them dudes. So that was her
The
angle.
Goldsteins.
Yeah, she'd have been, old little Connor. Yeah, he'd been a prospect back in the day. For old Maria. But yeah, she's gonna hear this somehow. I know. I don't give a damn.
What kind of relationship do you have with them now?
With her?
With both parents?
Oh, I don't have a relationship with her.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure she's gonna haunt that house I grew up in.
Okay.
And then my dad, me and him have a great relationship.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we were out watching red foxes in the backyard.
Yeah.
He loves that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, I don't have any relationship with her. She actually she lives in the house that I grew up in. So I grew up in a house in Soulard. It was 3 apartments. She was on the top floor. Me and my grandmother and my grandparents were on the bottom floor, and never really saw her. Actually, only being a couple floors away, which I'm kind of glad.
Yeah.
We really, like, looking back on it, like, if she would have raised me, like, I'd probably be,
Different.
really different. And I'm already different enough. So adding to that, I would probably need more neuro gum. So yeah, no, I was actually like fortunate for, that style upbringing I had with, like my grandparents are both, first generation Italians here. My grandfather ran a business with a 4th grade education and, had a very successful produce store here in St. Louis for a really long time. And, him and all his brothers were very entrepreneurial and whatnot. And my grandma was, she took over the business when my grandfather had poor health. And then, my mother and my uncle got involved and, and now it's closed. So, yeah. Yeah. So, with that kind of upbringing, it was good because, my father would have did well as a father. I see how he is with my brother and sister. But, like I got my father late in life and I was, happy to have him when I had him. And, it was always great to have him.
Well, it sounds like you had to grow up a lot faster than most kids. But
Yeah.
At the same time, on the back end, like it's awesome that your dad's putting in the effort and especially with your younger brother and sister, but also with you to reconnect. That's awesome.
And I'm sure there's more shit that I forget, but I've almost like you black out some of that stuff. Like as a kid, like seeing stuff like,
it's a defense
somebody
mechanism in our brain.
Like come out into the living room and somebody's ODing on the couch, and they're trying to sleep something off. And then another day you see somebody, they're in a bathtub full of fucking ice.
Yeah.
And it's not winter.
Right.
So they ain't exactly ice skating.
Right.
So like you see that kind of stuff. And like, that's kind of why I laugh off so much shit and I make so much jokes, but that's like just how I make light of seeing stuff that I probably shouldn't have seen as a kid. And now I just kind of like laugh about it,
it's a coping mechanism.
Cause like I've had, we all have those relatives and like we've had some relatives that lived under the same roof with me as a kid. And like you see things that, like stuff you shouldn't like laugh about. Like, like your uncle that's a functioning heroin addict and we have an ongoing joke. my cousin called me around Easter, and this is how fucked up of a sense of humor we have. He called me around Easter and he's like, so-and-so he OD'd on Easter. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, yeah. And then somebody shot him with Narcan and brought him back. And I was like, dude, he's like, Jesus Christ. He just came back on Easter. I was like, that motherfucker's going to be a prophet in Soulard. I mean, but what?
The saint of Soulard.
Yeah. So, like shout out to Uncle Joe, man. Fucking, he's breaking all actuarian tables around fucking the universe. I mean, they can't pinpoint him at all.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, no, I don't know how much of this you guys can leave in.
No, leave it all in.
Leave it in, baby. I ain't got nothing to hide. Holla at me. I'll tell you.
So growing up with an Italian family, did they? How was that cooking? Did you guys have a lot of homemade Italian meals, or are you good at cooking?
I'm good at cooking. So
let's talk
my grandma. Yeah, we'll talk about food. We're done with the functioning heroin addicts. So
We can go back. To
no, we'll go back to that one. I'll think of a couple good heroin addict stories before we're done.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, good.
yeah, I got one about a Walgreens trash can. We'll bring that one up later. We'll save that one for the end.
Yeah. Okay.
Just say Walgreens trash can and I'll remember.
All right.
All right. So my grandma had about 4 meals that she could do. She could do chicken spadini, green eggs and peppers. She'd do spaghetti and meatballs, which is just a common one. And then she could cook veal.
Okay.
Okay, those were her 4 things, which is really tough to get a lot of those meals out, like weekly raising the kids.
Sure.
So like, my grandma would do that probably once or twice a week. She'd cook one of those meals. I didn't really like green eggs and peppers.
I don't even know what that is.
It's almost like casserole-ish, but it's like, I don't know what I'm saying. Green eggs, green onions and peppers,
Oh, okay.
green onions, peppers and eggs. It's like in a pan, you bake it. It's got like a bed of green potatoes, peppers, and it's like
a breakfast casserole.
Yeah, it's pretty much like an Italian style casserole.
Okay.
That was like her 4 go things. She'd do veal. I had veal as a kid. That was like my grandma's like one of her favorite things to cook. And then during Christmas, she'd do the Italian cookies, which I loved as a kid.
Yeah.
All the different colored.
Mm-hmm.
And she'd do these cookies called they're called hermits. Little raisin cookie with like just a part of a cherry on top. It was real tiny.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Sometimes they had nuts in them, sometimes they don't. But that was like, oh man, like during Christmas she'd put those things on my lunch, like 2 or 3 of them. Fucking loved them. Oh, I haven't had those in years. But anytime like somebody brings in an assortment of Italian cookies from the hill, like I go in there and look for anything with like a jelly thumbprint. Like brings me back. So she did a lot of cooking. And then I actually have a cousin, Mario. Mario is a phenomenal cook. He actually heads up all of LaRusso's kitchen now on Watson. But he was at Tony's for a really long time. He's the head chef at Tony's, and Mario showed me some tips and tricks as a kid, like little simple stuff like how to make a grilled cheese and little things like that, and how to scramble some eggs without burning them. But I that was my go-to as a kid, was cooking grilled cheese. I used to think that was like, one, it's hard to fuck up.
Yeah.
2, it's like easy to make. So like you're between playing games and grabbing a chocolate milk, I'm like, all right,
Make a grilled cheese.
I'm gonna make a grilled cheese. I'm gonna whip up something good.
In between games of Mario Kart.
Yeah, between playing, I used to love playing Monday Night Nitro. That was my game. Go play a little Monday Night Nitro and whip up a grilled cheese sandwich. Or if we could scrape up some money, me and my buddies would walk up to that. It just closed. It was that Emo's off Gravois.
Yeah.
Now
That's
it's like a
buddy's
Chicago chicken fishing and grill or something.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. One of those places. Those aren't bad either, but the Emo's, that's where we would go up there and get a pizza and then galley on home and play some video games and stuff. But yeah, man, that was my grandma's go-tos.
Okay.
But the cookies were what I remember the most as a kid, around Christmas time, getting cookies. So
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Gina's my wife's from a very Italian family, so I've gotten to experience the Italian cookies. So
yeah,
I
love them. Absolutely love them.
I think it's almost like a childhood nostalgia thing too.
Yeah,
I mean they're very good. Don't get me wrong, but like that also adds to it. 'Cause it's like,
there's a couple of things like that. You're like, man, this is like, is it that great of a dish? But it's like, yeah, it's okay. But like the memory behind it is kind of,
for sure. You remember it.
Yeah, I feel that way when we had a grocery store, and across the street was a Dairy Queen in Soulard. Now that Dairy Queen was a Jimmy John's, and now it turned into a weed dispensary. But behind that was John's Donuts.
Okay.
Right by DB's.
Yeah,
DB's. Right by DB's.
It's a family friend of mine.
Yeah, yeah. So John's Donuts.
DB's or John's?
DB's.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Great spot. Good food. They had really good food there. The Gallaghers, the Gallaghers?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah,
so I know. Yes, I know them, but I'm the family friend is Jay. Jay Adams? He's like one of the partners.
Okay. Yeah. I'm familiar.
We always had all the posters and all this shit. Like in my we showed up to my college dorm room. I had like all the DB poster. DB girls.
Yeah.
The
yearly calendar.
Yeah, I remember me and my brother would go there. For I always, really, I've not gone to Soulard for Mardi. I've only been there for a couple times for Mardi Gras, but the a handful of times I was there, I was actually working it and working DBs and like going there to like bar back, because I remember him telling me like, yeah, they made like significant portion of the revenue for the year just on Mardi Gras.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he would hire like me, my brother, and some of like our friends to like come and work and like bar back and like just like work the Mardi Gras weekend essentially. And man, like there was one year that I'll never forget. It was pretty awesome. I was I think I was like 16 maybe. I was working in a kitchen, working in like as a cook at First Watch, and so they were like, "Oh, you're a cook, you know how to cook," and that's always kind of been my thing. And so I was like working the grill, like grilling burgers and brats, the whole time pretty much. And then the guy from that works at DB's, eventually throughout the day, he was like, we had all this excess of like brats and burgers, and he's just like, brats for tits.
That's hilarious.
He's like throwing like, he's like trading these girls. Like, I'm like a 16-year-old kid at the time. And I don't know, this kid's probably in his mid-20s.
Right.
And he's trading brats for, to these girls. So they'll flash them.
Little nipple shot for a brat.
Yeah. And it was like one of those things as like a 16-year-old kid. I was like, this is the coolest fucking thing ever.
Yeah, you're like, 2 boobs for 1 brat. And then by the end of the day, you're like, just an areola.
Like, just a piece of a nipple.
Yeah, just give me a piece of a nipple. Just show me an underboob and we'll get you fed.
I'll get you a brat, honey.
Yeah, just come close. I'll just look at you. Here's a brat.
Let me get a good look at you.
Yeah, let me just get a good glimpse. Yeah, man. Mardi Gras was interesting. That was one weird thing growing up in Soulard as a kid that I completely forgot about. But I was exposed to Mardi Gras at a really, really young age.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
It was interesting.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I saw some of my very first things as a kid.
Sure.
At Mardi Gras.
Well, it's just crazy how St. Louis has the second largest Mardi Gras outside of New Orleans.
Well, when I was younger, it used to come through the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Now it's on like the outskirt of the neighborhood, but it used to come down. I grew up on 12th. It used to come down right in front of the house. And like it was madness throughout the whole neighborhood. And like people were like stuff was getting vandalized and people were waking up with people in their bushes and, finding shit and whatnot. I mean, it was crazy. Like we'd find people in the backyard at our house all the time. Like,
hey, you can't
passed out on the trampoline. I had a trampoline in the backyard. I found a guy sleeping on the trampoline. I was like, oh, it's Mardi Gras. But
let's go double bounce him.
Yeah, like let's go under there. Let's hit him with the hose and see if he can jump on with a wet trampoline. But like, with the hose. Yeah, it's like stuff like that. So yeah, that probably also adds, like probably you find a kid, you grow up in Afton and find a guy in your backyard on your trampoline, you're probably going to get arrested and call him a sex offender.
Right.
In St. Louis, you just call it a good Mardi Gras.
Yeah, that shit doesn't happen in South County.
You're like, that guy had a good time. I want to hang out with him.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, then I guess too, you got the farmer's market down there. Did you spend a lot of time there growing up?
Yeah. I actually used to sell produce there with one of my dad's friends. His name was Rick. Rick would give anybody a job, like any of the kids a job. He'd pay us $50 for the day. When you were a kid, you thought it was really good work. Then as an adult, you look back at getting up at 5 o'clock and getting off at 5 for $50, and you're like, damn,
I got fucked.
I didn't really make out good on that deal. And then the best part was like you'd go out and buy like a $40 Zippo so you and your friends can burn stuff. You worked like a 10-hour day, to go buy some dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Like a couple snow cones up at the snow cone stand off Tesson. You can meet someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's what we would do. We'd do it. It was fun though, but that was we did that every so often. I didn't do it so regularly, but like we did it at a young age, and I kind of really appreciate that experience and like working at Soulard Market because you learned the haggle and you learned the hustle.
Yeah.
And like when certain people walked up, they're like, "Oh, this motherfucker's difficult. He's gonna ask me to reweigh his fucking grapes, or like somebody come up and they'll be like, how much for grapes? And it's like 2 pounds for $1, or something, or like you punch in the number and it's like it basically gives you what the price is. So you
Yeah.
punch in the number for the grapes, you weigh them, and then it spits out the price. And it'd be like, $3.75, and he's like $3.50, and then like I'd have to be like as a 8 or 9 year old or 10-year-old, whatever it was. Like,
Fuck
no,
you.
you'd have to literally be like $3.75. It's fucking $3.75. And then like my dad's friend would be like, no, you tell him it's $3.75. And then like some people are like, well, we don't pay tax. We don't pay U.S. tax. I'm like, you pay fucking tax.
Yeah, you're here.
Yeah, you're here. You're here. Like, and they're like, that was like their angle sometimes. And it's like, so they, or tell you like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't have change. All I got is $3. And I was like, well, then you're not getting the grapes.
Yeah,
Like,
taking a pound off.
yeah,
Give you
yeah,
half a
yeah,
pound
bro.
of grapes.
Yeah, or like somebody come by and they'd like fuck with the banana stand and like try to peel one off and fucking grab another one and try to make the perfect bundle. Fuck those people.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to go down there and restack the thing and and like because they're trying to pull one from the back.
Yeah,
'Cause that banana's got
that's a good looking.
that's a great looking banana that they're gonna let fucking
Yeah,
go
they're
bad
it's
in their
gonna turn
kitchen.
brown.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's like
4
the
days
powder
later.
brown.
Yeah,
It's like the pile of bananas I probably got sitting down on my.
it's the number one thing sold in the in the grocery store.
I'm
Well,
sure.
they're so cheap too.
Yeah.
They're so cheap and they're disposable. you
Nobody cares
ain't
about-
finish them.
Yeah.
Anybody that says they finish a thing of bananas every week,
When you have kids,
you might. Yeah.
my kids will crush some bananas, but even still, like I said, I have them every 2 days, so like
There's-
I got to buy them just right.
Yeah,
If
you
I
gotta
don't if
time
I
it.
don't time them and get them just the right amount of ripeness by the time I
Yeah.
get them and they're back,
Pat's mastered it.
yeah, I got the banana game.
You
I
got
got
the banana
I got the
game
banana
down.
game figured
Yeah.
out.
I
Yeah.
almost like buying them when they're little greens too.
Yep,
too,
that's
so
Yeah,
you get
that's
a-
what
get
I
a little
do.
more life.
I was
you
like,
know?
yeah, I got a chance to stare at them just a little bit longer before they go bad. I'm gonna just wait to throw out these bastards just 3 days longer. Yep, I get to watch them turn from green now, then yellow, then brown, then what the fuck?
The full circle of life.
Yeah, yeah. Before they start growing more bananas, that's right around when you start throwing them away. Yeah, yeah. So no, that was interesting. Growing up, working at Soulard Market, like, and honestly, that's kind of helped me progress. Like, when I have to pitch my work or when I have to talk, sales, and I have like that background of like a young kid, like growing up in a fast-paced place like that, and like dealing with like quick,
Yeah.
like high pace. Like you go in there and you go into Soulard on a Saturday, like it's pretty jam-packed.
I don't think people realize how fucking big that place is.
Dude, it's huge.
It's massive.
And it's no different than the produce
No.
you get at Schnucks and Save-A-Lot and Aldi's. It's all the same shit.
But if you're looking for an experience,
You're looking for an experience.
go down to Soulard Market,
yeah,
Farmers Market. It's an experience.
you can find anything down there.
I've
And
never gone.
it's
Dude.
I mean it's neat.
Wait, maybe I have once.
So
we used to take field trips in elementary school.
yeah, no, it's great. You can buy anything there. You can sell anything there. Later in my life, I used to we'd sell toys during Christmas, like any of the hot toys. You remember silly bands,
Yeah.
those dumb shits?
The little
we
rubber bands
yeah,
that-
it
when
made
you pick 'em up,
shapes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looked uglier and shit when you put them on, but
Yeah.
you pull it off and it's a
fun-
giraffe. Look at
Yeah.
that. Look at this giraffe. I got 3 giraffes.
Yeah, I got
And
a
the kids
giraffe, a
trade 'em.
unicorn, and a butterfly.
Yeah.
Remember the
Yeah.
fucking Uniball pens?
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
Kids were collecting, unicorns, and nowadays kids want to be one. It's like really fucking changed. The silly bands just really made everybody silly. I'm just not sure, but no, we'd sell those. We'd sell like ShamWows and dumb shit like that.
ShamWow.
Yeah, we sold
are
the
great.
shit out of them Billy May. Anything Billy Mays sold, I kid you not.
Oxyclean.
Oxyclean. Yeah.
Shadooba-dub. Yeah. Like we
Flex Seal.
Flex Seal, man, that shit was great. We did my favorite thing that I sold at Soulard with my cousin Joe. We sold sheets.
Okay.
I kid you not, sheets and those cheesy ass blankets. And those
Okay.
blankets would be the ones with like, you've seen them before. It's like Mother Mary with like 2 werewolves, and then you know what I'm talking about. And there's one's like La Vida Guadalupe.
Yes.
And it's like the background's like her on an iceberg. It's like, and I don't know who makes these fucking blankets, but it was always like some kind of fucked up scene. Like
Who the fuck buys these things?
People down in Soulard Farmers.
Latin
Market.
American.
Ah,
They hang those bastards up on their walls.
like a
They do,
poster.
yeah, like poster, like European culture where people hang up stuff on their
Tapestries
rugs.
and shit.
They hang up rugs, like yeah, like foreign culture, like decorating a house with rugs is like
Yeah.
the thing. But so we sold those, and the Egyptian cotton sheets, the feel of 1,000 thread count. And we would open up the thing like this, just like that Neuro Mints bag, and we're like, stick your hand in here and feel how soft they are. And people would stick their hand in there and be like, oh damn, that's soft. And it was so funny. We had this lady come up and she's like, she bought some sheets from us one week, and she came in. She's like, I brought some friends, and we're like, all right, cool. And she's like, give them a deal. And I was like, all right. So they were 1 for $20. I was like, all right. The lady was like, how much if I buy 2? And I was like, 40. And she goes, well, how much if I buy 3? And I looked at her, I said, 60. And she goes, that's the kind of deal I'm looking for. And my cousin looked at me and he's like, you're going to get us fucking beat up over here. He's like, because we're just like, we're just multiplying this.
Yeah, just
multitudes of 20. Like, holler at me. I got the deal. 3 for 60.
1 for 20 or 3 for 60?
Yeah. My favorite sheet selling story. We were sitting there with a guy in Denver. We used to go to these home shows. We used to go to these home shows where we like convention center liquidation shows, and we'd sell sheets there. And this guy Dan was telling us this big pitch on how he sells sheets. And he was like, this is how you boys sell sheets. He's like, you guys are doing good. Dan had a sunglass stand, like where you go up there and you can buy sunglasses, knock off Ray-Bans and all that shit. So Dan was like, here's what you do. You can do the 2 for special, but you put a 3 per person limit on it. And I was like, well, why would you not let anybody buy 3? He goes, because if you don't let the one person buy 3, then you end up selling 4. Okay, well, explain to me how that happened. He goes, so 2 people walk up. They're like, Dan was a Southern guy. He's like, 2 people walk up. And the guy goes, let me buy 3. And he's like, no, it's a 2 per person limit. They're hot. And he goes, and then his friend comes up behind him and says, well, what if I buy 2 and he buys 2? And he goes, well, there's nothing I can do about that.
Okay.
That was his big angle. Creating a hot demand.
Huh.
He's
a
like,
hot commodity.
yeah. So he's like, you force the other guy to buy 2. So instead of selling 3, you sell 4. You trick them. I was like, oh, fuck. This guy's definitely solving time travel later.
Yeah, he's figured it out.
Yeah. But that was it. That was his logic. But man, working at a sheet stand, dude, the couples,
Sheets.
bro, the couples that would fight over sheets,
Over like color. and
over
shit like
color, yeah, over like, well, I told you we should have bought a bigger bed.
No.
I wanted a Cali king. She wanted a king. You know, so and so. We got 2 fulls. We should have bought a queen for the spare bed. I mean, like the fights that you would hear at a sheet stand. I remember one couple almost got into a fist fight, and me and my cousin, we walked away from the fucking stand. I was like, grab the cash drawer. Fuck out of here. These 2 are nuts.
This was in Soulard?
No. This one was in Denver.
Oh, okay.
We did the Iowa State Fair.
Okay.
Yeah, we do that one over. There's another flea market that's pretty good across the river. Wentzville had a flea market.
Mm.
Do you remember it being down in Springfield? You too. Do you remember what the flea markets were called down in Springfield?
Fuck yeah, I used to go to them.
Gypsy Caravan.
I used to always go there and buy like weed stuff.
STD.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They had STD East, STD West, and then they had STD Central.
So
and I was
funny.
like, fucking STD Central.
STD
Yeah.
Central. Yeah.
Yeah, them home shows were crazy. We used to see some crazy shit. But yeah, we sold sheets. That was like that was a good hustle. That actually,
I believe it.
it
Oh,
honestly
sure.
was good money for a bit. And then problem is once it was a really easy buy-in to get like a pallet of sheets. You could get a lot of sheets for a pallet. You probably get like 4 cases of sheets, and there's about 20 to a case. They stack really easy. So like you can get a lot of product for about $1,000 and probably make like 3 or 4, depending on if there's no other person at the market.
Selling
So
it, yeah.
you know what would happen at the market? Somebody would see you walking around with 3, 3 sets of sheets, and then the guy sitting next to you down the way selling sunglasses, 2 weeks later he's selling fucking sheets, and then the guy selling blankets, jewelry cleaner, he's selling sheets. Everybody's got a set of sheets, and by the end of the day, then everybody's undercutting, and
Mm-hmm.
so then it kind of the sheet
game.
The sheet game went to shit.
What's that like Kimswick apple butter?
I've been to that. The Apple Butter Fest. Yeah, that was a big one, man.
Oh yeah. I've bought some sheets from the Apple Butter Festival.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's been some
Yeah.
Egyptian cotton.
Yeah, the
sheets
feel
bought.
of.
Man,
Yeah.
we need to up our sheet game.
Bro, let me tell you what. Real Egyptian cotton sheets are expensive.
Yeah.
The ones that I was selling were not.
They're like $25.
Yeah, these were the feel of Egyptian cotton. Like if you were like blind in one eye and had really calloused hands, they felt like Egyptian cotton. So, but yeah, that was one of my favorite hustles. We did that for a while. Me and my cousin, we grew up together in my grandma's house, and we always had some kind of thing going.
Yeah, dude, I love that
That's
entrepreneurial
Yeah.
spirit, and just that
Like-
hustle, because it's like I was talking about this with a buddy of mine recently, and it's just like it kind of seems like people have that or they don't. Whether they're gonna kind of go out there and like really work for something or like really drive towards something.
Yeah, I used to do like Von Dutch hats.
Oh God,
What are
really?
those?
Yeah, I used to sell fake.
They
Von-
were cool when I was in high school. They're like the trucker hats that said Von Dutch.
Yeah,
I think
They're-
I remember that.
Yeah.
They were like $60 for a fucking trucker hat that were uglier than shit.
they're uglier than fuck.
Oh God!
But
If you want to see a good documentary, there's a good documentary
yeah?
on Hulu about that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
yeah, man, that was a huge brand that blew up, and it was like back in our high
Yeah.
school day, that was a thing. And like I'd get the patches from a guy at Soulard Market.
And then you just
And-
stitch them on some
and then
fake ass
and then
trucker hat.
I'd get some blanks from another guy at Soulard Market, and like I'd either stitch them if I could stitch them, or I'd fucking super glue them with like Gorilla Glue.
We'd all
and
be
like-
wearing our hats like this.
Yeah,
Yes.
Fucking
Yeah.
trucker hats,
Yeah.
the Ashton Kutcher style
Yeah.
from
Oh, yeah.
Punk'd.
Punked. Yeah.
Yeah. He rocked the Von Dutch,
Yeah.
Deutsch, whatever the hell it was, and yeah, that was like the start of it.
yeah, that was the start, and then you start seeing the Affliction stuff,
Oh yeah.
and then that was a really bad phase. I didn't go down that phase, luckily.
Yeah. I didn't.
That was like, I think that's when I was reaching my all black clothing phase, where I just
that's kind of where you stayed. Huh?
that's kind of where
I don't
I've
know if
stayed,
I've never seen you wear any color but black.
brother. I'm like
Rocking a black gi too.
Bruh, I got
You got
one
one-
white.
you got a
I got
white
one white gi, but it's a swag. It's one of my
It's a swaggy
favorite. That
one.
retro,
Oh, dude, I gotta show you the new one I got.
the AP. Did you get the AP retro one?
No, I'll show you the new. I'll show you after this.
Because AP came out with a retro one, and it was like, I was like,
No, I got this really nice show you roll. Me and Nick just got them the other day.
ooh,
It's sick. The whole thing's made of ripstop. The ripstop.
Yeah.
The whole like jacket and everything is ripstop. So it's sick. I'll show you downstairs before you leave. It's badass. I just wore it the other night on Tuesday. I wore it for the first time. Yeah, it's badass.
But
Black
yeah.
one? Yeah, the black one. Yeah, it's nice.
black gis hold up.
They do. I mean, I like having. You want to eventually get one of every. Because that's like one of Kyle's only rules is a black, blue, or white geese.
Yeah, I got
I don't have a blue one that I
Got a
like.
blue-
I
got a
haven't
blue
seen.
one on its way.
I really
Yeah.
want to get a. I want to get a navy one. I've seen
Yeah.
a couple navy ones that look pretty cool. Like
You think
navy,
he'd let you
like-
wear navy?
Yeah, you can wear navy blue.
Maybe.
Yeah,
As long any blue.
I guess any
Any
blue. Yeah.
blue.
Any blue.
He just doesn't want wacky colors because
Yeah.
you'll see online people have like camo geese and
Yeah, I
tie
saw
dye
some of that
geese.
stuff.
yeah,
and,
I've
like,
seen some wild
pink
shit.
geese and like
Yeah, when you're out there hunting and you're wanting to like arm bar a fucking 10-point buck.
you never know.
Yeah, he
I'm
wasn't
trying to
down
hide.
all the way.
You're trying to blend in and hide with the mat and hide from your competition.
Yeah.
Pop
Yeah,
out of
you're
the-
like, yeah,
I can't see you. Where
Yeah,
are you?
you're like, I followed this deer into its cave.
Yeah.
It was injured, so I had my camo show your roll on.
I followed
And I-
Bambi's brother in there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
collar choke this.
yeah. I put a omoplata on that bastard, and he put him out for his last. I put him out.
Took out one of his
Yeah.
legs.
Yeah, that one shot didn't do it, but that omoplata did. You almost omoplata a deer before. You could hear that conversation at a truck stop. Like, yeah, I omoplata a deer. You're like,
I don't
what?
even know what an omoplata
Yeah.
is. How do I?
Yeah. I thought that was an omelet that I was gonna order at the iron skillet. Yeah, let me get that bacon and egg on my plotter.
Yeah. I'm going to have that omoplatter.
You're trying to speak
Yeah.
Spanish, get me an empanada. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, when Kyle was doing that safari trip that he went on, I was like so close to messaging Kyle. I was like, "Hey, coach, go out there and omoplata that giraffe."
Yeah, go hit that giraffe with an omoplatter.
Yeah,
that giraffe's got a pretty long neck.
Yeah,
It's pretty easy to choke.
So, yeah. See, you put that giraffe in a triangle, coach.
Yeah, man, that trip looked awesome.
Yeah, man. I've had a lot of hustles in my
When you were really
day.
into you went through a kind of a phase. You're really into cycling for a while.
Yeah, man. That was
talked about that before.
That was an interesting phase.
Rocking the tights and on the bike.
Bro, I did it all. I was just out there skin tight.
Really?
Yeah, I was. I mean, here's the thing. I got to a point where I only put on the tights when I was either doing a training ride or racing. But I kind of equated it to this. I used to hate seeing people wearing their hockey jerseys out in public.
Yep. Like for the team they played for.
Yeah. Because I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That nasty ass jersey,
Fucking
you're going to fucking
smells
wear out the
so
schnooks
bad.
Yeah.
to get groceries in?
It smelled like
Yeah.
death.
No matter what you did, it smelled horrible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I was like, listen, here's the thing. I was like, this outfit is horrible and horrendous, but I look good in it. But the only time I'm going to really wear it is like if I'm for real need to wear it.
Yeah.
So like most days I'd go out and like sweatpants and a hoodie and like throw my helmet on and I'd go for a ride, or like during the winter, like I'd be in like a full like sweat outfit. Like, you know, I wouldn't even wear a helmet. I'd wear like a ski cap and like, you know, you just cruise around Forest Park. And that's most of the time what I enjoyed doing was just kind of cruising around. But if I was doing a training ride, I'd put the whole outfit on and kind of do it right. But it was good, man. That was a tough sport. That was a really tough.
What was your longest ride? Or competition or race?
I mean, my toughest was for a training ride one year, we went to Tucson, Arizona, and we did this mountain called Mount Lemon. And that was a bad motherfucker.
Really?
Yeah, it was a training ride, but I had each of my legs were cramping out, and like I'd give one leg a break by like pedaling with one foot, and then I'd switch off to do another foot. And like I had a buddy with me, and like, man, I got down to like 6 or 7 gels that I took in that ride. And then they were handing me like bananas and Starburst and shit just to like make it. And I was like, I'm getting to the top of this damn thing. Cause I was like, we had a snowstorm here. So I only had 2 days down there. So like you get one day to like warm up and acclimate. And then the next day, like we just went out and like hit it. And like everybody else was down there for like 3 or 4 days. And, I was like, all right, I'm down here. I went through a fucking snowstorm to get here. I had to have one of my buddies with one of his goofy ass trucks that was like 50 feet lifted in the air take me to the damn airport. Kid you not. That's how I got to the airport, because it was like no Ubers would get you there.
Yeah.
So I got to the airport in his truck, and then
You fly with your bike, I guess. Right?
and fly with my bike, because then you had to get a big enough Uber to fly. So like I just got my buddy. Thank God he drove me, and then we got there, and I only had 2 days to do this mountain. I had one warm up day and the second day, and the mountain was serious. And like, there was a couple guys on our team that like cracked halfway going up the mountain, like pulled over and stopped. So I was like, I'm down here for 2 days. I'm getting to the top of this fucking mountain. But when I did, it's great. I got the video. Like I fell on the fucking middle of the road and just laid there, but it was tough. That was like 5 or 6 hours.
Damn.
I've been on the bike longer than that, but that's probably the
Yeah,
the toughest, because
fucking
like you're
up a mountain.
pedaling the whole time. There's no real like
glide.
Yeah, no. And what was special about Mount Lemon is there's actually not one part of it that flattens out or descends.
Oh shit.
Oh.
So the
Just straight
uphill
up.
so the
Oh, wow.
the road is a deceptive like 0.5%, and then at some points it gets like higher up to like 20s, but most of the time it's an agonizing like 5%. And what I noticed about climbing a fucking mountain is like you're on a road, you can see the top of the mountain,
Right.
but the road zigzags back. So like you're like, oh,
I think I'm almost there.
I'm almost there. I'm around that corner. I just got to get around that corner. Like, fuck, you get around the corner. You're like, fuck, I got another corner. And you're like, all right, I think this one's it. And then you keep like dangling this carrot in your head. And you think you're there.
Yeah.
And like, you know, like by the time you get to the top, and I remember like I had some friends that finished earlier than me, and they're coming down as I'm coming up, and they're like, you're almost there. You got 4 more turns. And I'm like, thank fucking God. Somebody told me that I actually like how many turns that I have. But like, cause like deceptively, you're just like, it's right there.
Yeah. I could
But
see
you're
it.
just like this the whole time. Cause you're like, shit, I'd just rather just go up the side of this damn mountain and get
I'll
it
just
over with.
Throw this bike on my back and climb and walk up it.
Yeah. Like I got it. I'm here. But yeah, man. It was fun. It actually helped me build a lot of really good leg strength. It helped me build some really good cardio.
How long ago did you do this?
I was on the bike. I think I raced for like 4 or 5. I enjoyed racing, but I think I rode for about 7. My buddy got me into it, and then he had a damn ACL, MCL surgery. So the only dude I knew that got me into it, I bought my bike, and then he was out. So I'm just riding around Forest Park trying to, you know, race whoever. Because, you know, I thought I was fast. And then I started doing racing, and I found out I wasn't fast. And then it took a while to get fast. But yeah. Yeah, man, that was fun. That gave me a good base. Taught me a lot about sports nutrition.
Sure.
You know, that was like one of the big things that you learn about that lifestyle is like, you got to be very, very conscious of what you put in your body, how much liquid you take down, and be very like acute sensitivity to the things you eat throughout the day, because they will haunt you on the bike. You will feel everything you ate that day and the day prior. Like that one drop of sriracha that you had, you might feel that. Or that one shot that you did at work when you were walking out because like somebody's like, hey, let's do a toast.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
It'll come back.
Even more so than running long distances?
You know, I've used the discipline that I learned from cycling, and
just to not do that while you're
like when I did the half marathon, I was like, all right, cool. Like I think I can get this done in worst case scenario, 2.5 hours. That means I'm going to need at least 6 gels, one when I start, one every 30 minutes. Like I made sure to like have enough carbs, like a day out. My carb meal is Lona's Little Eats in Fox Park. Great place. Like everything's like super rice heavy, clean meat. It's an awesome spot.
Never been.
So that's like my day prior meal. Like you get to just kind of carb load, and you know, the next day just come out, get up early, have some sugar and whatnot, some clean sugar like an hour before, you know, a couple bananas, something light, Justin's almond butter on a couple waffles. That's like kind of like my go-to thing. That's clean enough. I know it's not going to fuck me up.
Yeah, you eventually learn stuff that doesn't digest well and stuff that doesn't hurt your stomach.
So I do that. I bring that into like even, you know, like when I started going to open mat, like that first open mat, like I was like, oh shit, I did not prep for this. This is one of those events. Yeah. You got to like,
you need to eat well.
Eat well throughout the day, drink well throughout the day. And like now, like I can make it through an open mat, which was great. That was like a challenge. Like,
sure.
I remember like only surviving like 3.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And now I'm like building up, and I'm like, all right, like I survived like another 3 matches. And then like you're like, all right, cool. Like I can make it through an open mat all the way till 8, 6:30 to 8 o'clock with only like one rested. So
I do want to get back to that Walgreens trash can story if we can.
All right, we got.
All
right, yeah. No. We got. I can get this one done in about 10 minutes, and then Murph can go meet that truck driver girl that he knows. She's finishing truck driving school. This girl that Murph's looking to meet. They're right. That one with the deep voice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Yeah. Then Murph's gonna come roll with me after a hard on. So be interesting. Besides that weird shit. So as most people know, if you have an addiction, you'll do anything to
feed it.
Get your
feed
fix.
it and feed it. So there was a Walgreens off like 3200 in Broadway, right by the river. And most Walgreens throw out anything that's returned, gently used. So my uncle and his friend's name was Dago. My uncle, his nickname was Dago. He had to be with a name like Dago, and he had no teeth too. He had nothing on the upper shelf, and they
upstairs,
nothing teeth wise. He was just
evicted those boys, huh?
But for some reason, this motherfucker really liked coloring his hair. So he would always be, while they were digging for shit in the Walgreens dumpster, he was always looking for hair dye. So he's looking for black hair dye. So Dago, in the Walgreens store manager, got into a fist fight the week prior. And somehow the Walgreens manager caught on that this crack addict was looking for hair dye always. So it's fucking hilarious with this. Whoever this Walgreens store manager did was so slick. He started switching out the bottles. And he switched out a couple bottles with like, he came out with some grayish blue hair.
Oh, no.
He had some like crazy ass hair color. So Dago's in the comes home. You know, they come to my grandma's house. It's my grandma's that one child of hers that she could never see past, could never do no wrong. I love my grandma, but she could never see past my fucking uncle's addictions. So Dago and his friends, they come home and they got all the fucking shit they're pulling out from Walgreens trash bags. They're from their find.
They're fine.
Yeah, and then they're gonna go part it out so they can go shoot up. And Dago's in the bathroom dyeing his fucking hair. Okay.
And how? And you're like a little kid at this time?
Yeah, I'm like 8, 9, 10. You know, like 11. I don't know, old enough to comprehend
what's going on,
what the fuck is going on, and why these crackheads are
bathroom.
dumpster diving at Walgreens.
And now they're in my bathroom.
Yeah, now they're in my bathroom, and the one's dyeing his hair. So Dago's dyeing his hair, and he comes out with fucking like this grayish blue hair. It was like this silverish blue hair. And he was like, that motherfucking store manager from Walgreens. He's like, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna fuck him up. He switched his fucking hair dye out. And he was like, now I look like a fucking you know what. And he's like, look at this shit. So like he had this grayish blue hair, and he had the ink, he had the dye all over his fucking forehead that was blue and shit, because you know, like he was a crackhead and he couldn't dye his hair right, or he wasn't using a fucking cap like most people would
just
be.
Fucking painting it on.
Yeah, he's just painting it on, probably with like a fucking paintbrush he got from Sherwin-Williams, but he's just in there with the gloves and shit, and he comes out and he's got this blue silverish fucking hair. And it was so funny to see him because he had no teeth. He always wore a tank top, and he always had like these cut up shorts or jeans, and he like had this fucking silverish blue hair that he had to walk around with for a good week. But they were like, yeah, that was the way that store manager over at Walgreens switched out the fucking hair dye.
That's
yeah,
so funny.
yeah.
He knew that guy was coming.
Yeah, he knew he was looking for hair dye. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna fuck up all the hair dye.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he did, but he switched the bottles. But I remember it was like a bottle. It was a like a box for like
Just
black
for men,
hair.
yeah.
For black hair. Like he was trying to dye his hair black. So yeah, like because Dago would always grab the hair dye. It was something he was always looking for. That was like the hot item. I guess you could, flip for a couple bucks as a crackhead in South City. There was somebody trading hair dye for cash somewhere.
Hair
in
dye
that
for
area.
heroin.
Yeah, hair dye for heroin. Yeah, that sounds like a good campaign.
Yeah, it sounds like a band name.
Yeah. The heroin hairdressers, Oh man. So yeah, no, that's one of my Walgreens stories. If you guys ever need any more content on crack addict addictions, I got about 100 really good. Yeah. I got
You got stories, bro. If there's one thing I
Yeah,
know
how
about
much
you,
time
Pat,
we
you got
how much
stories.
time we got left, Merv?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. All right. My second story about addiction and what people do to make money is we had this small lawnmower shed in our backyard, and my uncle rented it out to one of his crackhead friends.
Oh no.
I like to live in.
To live in.
Oh God.
And he had a cot and one of those little TVs. and what was fucking crazy is he almost died because I think he got inhabited by like brown recluses or fucking some kind of fucking spiders.
Yeah.
And the guy had to end up going to the emergency room because he was living in our backyard in this little shed. I think it's still there. I'll get a picture of it and I'll send it to you. But this guy was living in this shed on an army cot.
Oh wow!
And my
Pissing in a
uncle,
bucket or something?
yeah, probably, or in the backyard.
Yeah.
And he was my uncle was renting it to him.
Oh.
And the guy almost died from spider bites.
Oh my god!
Almost died from spider bites. I mean, they might have lied and told me something. He might have died from an OD for all I know. But the story I got was spider bites.
God.
So we'll just wrap it up there. We'll leave it at that, and we'll just stay tuned for part 2.
Yeah, we'll have you on again for sure, Pat. This is a lot of fun, man. We had a blast.
Thanks
here.
for coming on.
Lots of laughs.
Good, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could.
The one thing we do before we sign off, hopefully we got some time, is called the tombstone game. Here lies Pat. What's it say underneath your tombstone? Or what's it say on your tombstone?
What did it say on my tombstone? Here lies Pat, a guy that always brought laughter and joy, and hopefully good design to the world.
Perfect.
There we go. Perfect.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for checking us out. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment what you thought down below, and we will see you next time.